Hey everybody, today we'll be looking at how to use NELIS, that's the Nevada Electronic Legislative Information System. This will be the home site for official Nevada legislation. It is important for us to know how to use this site so we can keep track of what is going on and exercise our right to participate in our legislative process. So the first thing that we're going to do is go on and visit leg.state.nv.us. That's leg.state.nv.us. And to the left hand side where it says session info, go ahead and hover over that, and we're going to drop down to the 83rd, which is the 2025 session. Go ahead and click on that. It's going to bring you to the next page right here. This is an itemized breakdown of what NELIS entails, but what we're going to focus on is this BDR list. So go ahead and click on the BDR list. That stands for Bill Draft Request, and that's essentially what we're going to do is we're going to be looking through the bills. Now, in this area right here, you can either put in a BDR number, you can put in a keyword, or you can just go all the way over here to the right hand side and click View All BDRs. That right there shows us that there is 982 BDRs that are waiting right now to enter into legislation. As we're starting to look at them, if you scroll down, you'll notice that there's no way to actually click on and review any of these right here. That's because they don't have a BDR number, but if you continue to scroll down, you'll see that there is hyperlinks right here that's going to allow for you to click on them and then lead you to the BDR. Now, I do just want to, throw out some keywords just so that, you guys are familiar. Education is always a hot topic. You can put in things such as firearm. You can put in things such as taxes or maybe, healthcare. Whatever is pertinent to you, go ahead and put that keyword in and just see if there's anything that pops up. Education is always a hot topic when it comes to legislative session, and no differently this year than other years. There's 103 BDRs right now that are waiting to be heard on education. So again, on the left-hand side, you'll see that these first four right here, they don't have BDR numbers yet, so we don't know what these bills actually say. But this one right here, SB 98, this one has a hyperlink. Now this right off the bat right here on this first page, it's going to tell me who the senator is that's sponsoring the bill and what the bill is actually about. Once we click on the hyperlink, it's going to lead us to an overview page. Now, this right here, overview page, as you start to scroll down, is essentially like just one whole page of what everything up here it entails. But when we start going into legislation, which starts on Monday, February the 3rd, once we start looking at these BDRs, you will be able to scroll all the way down to the bottom, And the very last thing that's going to be available down here, and again, it doesn't open up until Monday, February the 3rd, is the opportunity to submit opinion. So you can click right there, and then you can cast your vote either in support of a bill or in opposition of a bill, and it'll give you the opportunity to leave comments. Now, the only way that you can actually participate in that is if you scroll all the way up to the top, go to the right hand side, and it's going to ask you to either sign in or register. You do have to have an account if you want to be able to participate on this NELIS site. The account is completely free, so you can go ahead and make that account, put in your information, get a username, and then go ahead and register. Once you do that, you can go back to the page. And again, I encourage everybody to submit your opinions. Now, if we look at the top right here, we're going to take a look at the text. This is what the actual bill is. It'll tell me right here that it's 8 pages, so it's not too lengthy to read. I've seen bills in the hundreds, which was crazy to read, but this one's pretty easy. It's 8 pages. Again, Senate Bill 98. So SB stands for Senate Bill. If you see anything with the A, that's for Assembly. But it's going to tell us who is the sponsor of this bill. It's going to give us a little summary right here, and then it'll give us also a synopsis right here. So as we're going to continue looking through this bill, we're going to look at things such as what is the already existing statute. For this particular bill, it's already an existing statute, and what they're trying to do is revise that. And so one of the things that we're going to look at is what is in the blue language or the blueprint. The blueprint is what they want to add to the revised statute. And if we continue to scroll down, we're going to see that red will always have a line through it, and that's what they want to take out of the statute. And so it'll give us this opportunity to really look at what the bill originally says and what they want to change it to understand what the intent of the bill is. Does that make sense? So you will have every opportunity to go through all of the bills. As these bills start passing through legislation, because again, legislation doesn't happen until February 3rd, it is 120 days. Any of the bills that start in the Senate House or have an SB in it will start in the Senate House. Any of the bills that start with an A is going to start in the Assembly House. They do have to pass both houses, and so legislation is 120 days. So as we continue on with legislation, you might see that some of the bills have amendments. You'll be able to click on that and see what changes that are being made to this bill. As it passes each house, you'll be able to click on the votes and see, how did your legislators vote? Did they vote in favor of what you thought was favorable, or did they vote in opposition of what you had thought? And so you'll be able to see all of that as well, to see how they voted. Any fiscal notes are going to be right here. Meetings, these are recorded, so you will have the opportunity to watch them live. And if you miss the live, you can always go back to the archive and rewatch them. Exhibits are a big one. Every single one of these bills are assigned to a committee, and essentially there is a specific email that will be available for us to be able to send in testimony. So if this is something that's near and dear to your heart, you can send in letters of testimony. Send it over to that specific email. That person who's in charge of that email is going to read over everything, and then they're going to submit it into the exhibit. The exhibit is actually really helpful for us because it is public information. And so if there's a bill that you're reading and you don't really understand if you're for it or against it, if it's good or if it's bad, then exhibits are a good way for us to really look, because as people start submitting what they believe is either right or wrong, you'll have a chance to hear what they think on it, and hopefully that'll help you understand what the bill says and maybe influence you one way or another. That exhibit is not just open to those who are, quote unquote professional or experts. That's literally open to the public. And so that is, something that we're able to utilize as well. Okay, so that's going to be how we look at bills. If you go up to this top bar right here, this is also going to be something that breaks down on NELIS. You'll be able to look at any of the budgets, committees. Every committee has an entire team around it. So if you click on something like education, it's going to tell you, what is this? This is the assembly team for education, and it'll tell you all the members, who is the chair and the vice chair, and etc. Again, hyperlink, so you'll be able to click on this person. This is Assembly Selena Torres. It's going to give you her email. This email is going to be the main way that we communicate with our legislators, okay? Utilize that. Let your assembly and your senators know, we want them to represent us in either support of the bill or in opposition of a bill. And we have that right because we are their constituents and we voted them in to represent us. It does provide what their address is. So if you do want to, write them a letter, you can do that as well. So let's go ahead and exit out of that. So just keep that in mind as we're going through on some of these really big, controversial, important bills. Again, with this, if you go over to the session info, if you just want a list of all of your Senate or all of your assembly members, you can go over to session info, go down to legislators, and it's going to tell you everybody, what their district number is, what their party affiliation is, again, with their address. Some of them will have phone numbers, so you can even call them and see if they're available to talk over the phone. But again, that email is the most effective way for us to really be able to communicate with them, but also to start that paper trail. Okay, we want to know if they're going to be responding to us. We are talking to them, and we're expecting them to respond to us as well. So paper trails are always good. Then you have the meeting and floor sessions. Once legislation opens, this is going to be easier to access and have more schedules available for us to really see what is happening. So overall, again, I just want to focus on what the bills are, so that we really know how to read them, how to participate in them, and understand, when those hearings are, because we want to be able to attend those hearings as well. Okay, so overall, it's pretty easy to look at. This right here is going to give you any deadlines so that we know what's coming up. You can look at the 120-day calendar right here. This is going to kind of break down the different things that are happening over the next 120 days. Okay, so this is essentially NELIS. Really, really easy. A whole lot of fun and a whole lot of work, but hey, together, we're going to be able to accomplish anything. So if you have any questions, go ahead and give me an email. My email is alex@remnantimpact.org, and I will be happy to correspond with you. Have a good day, guys.